Hi Virgo, this is the reading for you for the month of July, and it is a general reading, which means that I'm not going to ask any specific question to the cards, but rather I'm going to see, or we are going to see what the cards are willing to tell you, to communicate with you for the month of July. Okay, Virgo, let's start. So there is a King of Cups, an Ace of Pentacles, and the Six of Swords. So the King of Cups indicates a person in your life, most likely a man in your life, or a masculine personality, which could be a masculine woman, or a mother who is very strong in your life or has a strong personality. But also it could indicate a man. And then what traits of this person, how can you recognize this person? So the person is first of all a man or a woman with a strong yang, with the strong masculine features, but also this person is emotional. So if this is a man, then it is an emotional man, or the man who is a good listener, a man who is maybe sensitive, a woman who is strong on one side but then sensitive on the other. So this is the person. So maybe you already know who am I talking here about, and if you don't know yet, then think about it. Or maybe it's a new person who is going to show up in the month of July, a sensitive man or a stronger but sensitive woman. And then the Ace of Pentacles. So and in reverse. So Ace of Pentacles means usually if a card is not reversed, it means either a purchase or a new money beginning, which means earnings, or which means a donation, or which could mean you finding money. But in reverse, it means just the opposite, which is you might spend a lot of money which you are not going to be satisfied with. Or it could mean that you might give money to someone, but it's not going to be a regular donation. It's going to be a donation which a significant donation, a donation which kind of make you feel like you have less money. It makes your budget smaller, significantly smaller. So it could be a donation to a friend or family, or maybe you pay for something, maybe you organize some party and you spend a lot of money. So this is in reverse, which means that this spending, which is coming up in July, is going to slightly make you either worry or stressed, or just you feel like you need to somehow get it back or earn it back. So it could also be holidays, but during holidays you just let yourself loose and just spend a lot of money, and it could be for good reason, for an experience. But then later you're coming back from holidays and you feel like you don't have enough money for the end of the month, so you just need to live on budget. So I'll be connecting those cards in a second. But then we have the Six of Swords, which again means a journey, a trip, but it's reversed. So it could mean a journey which is tiring. It could mean a journey which supposed to be great, but instead is you want this to end. Or it could mean a cancelled journey. So reading it, connecting all the dots, it means that maybe you planned a trip with a man, with some person close to you, with a friend or a partner, and you already purchased it, or maybe you paid a certain amount for the trip, but then the trip is cancelled. Therefore, the money is spent not really well because you didn't even go to the trip. You have to cancel the trip. Or maybe you paid for the trip, it was not cheap, but then the trip was not that good and you feel like the money is kind of lost. And then let's see, why is that? Okay, look at this. So I'm sensing that this man or a woman, depends, it's up to you. You know best who is this person in this reading. And it shows up that there is some, the card of lovers in reversed shows that there is some problem or issue between you and this other person. So basically the relationship is not going so well. Maybe you went together for the trip, but you didn't enjoy it together, or maybe there was a conflict, or maybe you realize you're not a good match, or maybe you realize that you're not getting along, or that you're fighting all the time, and then you feel like it was not worth it, and then the money shows up and you feel like, shit, I spent so much money on this trip, but it was actually not worth it because it was supposed to be a romantic getaway, but instead we are just fighting, or we cannot get along, we cannot agree on many things. And then we have a death card, which means transformation or a change or some ending of some story. So maybe you even break up during that trip. um, you break up, or at least you make a decision that you want to break up, or you want to withdraw your emotions and your actions from that relationship. And if it's not a trip, if you're like, oh, I'm not planning to get on a trip, and that's not my case, then it all could happen in a normal daily life. So you basically invest some resources. It could be straight on money, or it could be any other resources that you're investing in a person, in a relationship with a person. It could be, food together, or it could be some entertainment together, or it could be some gifts. And then you feel like you're crossing the ocean for someone who is not crossing a puddle for you, cannot jump the puddle for you. That's a saying that once I've heard, and I really like it. So you feel like, oh, you're doing so much of a commitment on your side, and this person is just like, okay, doing something, but not that much, really. And that's why your dreams or your expectations on the lover side of you and that person is, of course, you are disappointed, and you're thinking that it was not worth it, and you have to finish it, or at least take a big break and think it through. And then let's see one more. Okay, there's a Page of Pentacles. So probably represents it could represent your attitude towards this whole thing. You think that because of this person, I sense some sort of resentment towards this person, that you invested basically too much, and you feel like this relationship, it made you poorer and not richer, and in whatever sense. It could literally be money sense. So let's say you invested in yourself, you bought a new clothes, you bought a new dress, or new whatever suit, or you went for waxing, or I don't know, you traveled somewhere, you bought a ticket, and then this was not worth it. So you felt poorer at the end of this. You felt like your money was not invested right, because your expectations were that something is actually going to happen more out of it. And why, I'm going to ask the cards, why this person who is showing up in your reading, Virgo, why this person makes you feel this way. Okay, you see, wow, because this person is stingy, because this person has a very weird relationship with money, and maybe even asking you to pay for everything, or maybe doesn't want to pay for his or her stuff, or maybe cannot afford, maybe is poor, maybe doesn't have a job, or maybe doesn't have a lot of savings, or maybe has a poor job and cannot afford. So basically you want to go somewhere together, but it's you who has to pay. And even though you feel like you don't have that much at the moment, but you still are paying and are investing resources, but this person maybe doesn't even appreciate it, or maybe cannot reciprocate your investment, and you feel like something is imbalanced. But also there's slightly more of that. I mean, is there something more of that, or just the money thing? Maybe you feel like this person doesn't invest that much, but on the other hand wants to make the decisions and wants to say how it is supposed to be, and wants to be a decision maker, wants to be a dominant side of this relationship. And you feel like it's kind of not fair, because you feel like uh, you want more of the partnership, both on cost and on the decision making side. So that will be it. And then let me draw for you two cards from different decks to see what other July um, advices the cards would like to give you. And we have freedom and bittersweet. How funny! Look how incredibly meaningful it is in this in your reading. Because first of all, bittersweet, this is how you might feel right now. You feel like it's supposed to be sweet, but there's something not right about it. And there's nothing, I mean, nothing is perfect, but you feel like this imperfection is making you feel bitter. There's something that makes you bitter inside. There's something that disappoint your expectations. Well, first of all, expectations are usually not a good thing, but in this case, you feel like, oh, it has such a sweet potential and it could be really nice, but something here is not right. And also, these are the chakras cards. So this card also is a throat chakra card, and it means that there is also a problem in a communication here. So there's someone who is not speaking their truth freely. Is it you, or is it the other person? If it's you, then maybe you can consider speaking up your truth, and maybe this will challenge the other person for good or for bad. But at least you will see how it goes. But there is some unspoken truth in you, or in the other person, or in both. There is a need for some deeper conversation between you two, and that is shown in the card. And now we have freedom. So there is a lady in the, well, a cage. Is it a golden cage? I'm not sure, but there's a lady in the cage. So you feel like you're restricting yourself. There is something which makes you to feel like your freedom is not fully expressed. And I feel like you need to feel freedom. I don't know if this is how you are, or this is particularly this month you feel like you've been restricted. Maybe you've been restricted by this relationship, or maybe you've been restricting yourself, or maybe something else is restricting you, but you are craving freedom, and you are the only one who can give yourself this freedom. No one is going to grant you freedom if you're not going to grant it yourself. So it is you who is responsible for giving yourself the ultimate freedom. And what is this freedom in your case? Well, I don't know. It's you who decide what is this freedom. Is it the freedom of speech, which was on this card, or is it a freedom um, partnership, or is it a freedom of being with whoever, and don't think of social circumstances? But there are some unspoken freedom need in you that you need to fulfill as soon as possible, because this month of July is going to remind you strongly of this need of freedom. And that's it. Thank you very much. Bye bye.